Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. We've got a 2014 150 Prado that's here for a 160k service. So we're going to run through the quick inspection again, but also we're going to include, oh look, I just did a video on these flaps falling apart and how they don't fall apart even when they're old, and this one's not old. These haven't fallen apart, they're not brittle and fall apart. It's from people working on the car and the way they do repairs and stuff like that. So someone's been up in here doing something and torn that. But that's not what the video is about. What I'm going to include in this video to answer a really important question a lot of people have been asking, and that is looking at these wheels and tyres. When do you balance your wheels? When do you balance your wheels and why? Because there's a whole lot to it. It seems pretty simple. So I'm going to give you my answers and explanation on why and when you balance those wheels and why. But before we do, let's do the usual quick vehicle inspection. We'll, spend a few minutes having a look over the vehicle to see what problems we see at 160k. This vehicle's been used off-road, touring trips a little bit. You can see the bash plate, a little bit of scraping, a few tracks here and there. Not a hardcore off-roader, just a tourer type thing, but you got to hit some tracks. You can see the KOs are starting to get worn down. Probably only got about 6 mil left actually. So they are, they're a bit worn down. They're getting down there. Anyway, it's what is it? It's the one with KDSS anyway. I can't remember. Is it a Kakadu or I can't remember what model it is anyway, but it's we'll work it out when we get to the back. I think it's on coil spring, so it's probably it hasn't got airbags, so it'll be a VX, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, it's had aftermarket suspension, so there's no point looking there. Little bit of sweat on that upper ball joint dust boot, nothing to worry about. A little bit of sweat on the steering rack there, nothing to worry about. Drive shaft CVs look normal, nothing to worry about. Let's have a look at these lower control arm bushes. Usual sorts of flexing and stretching. There's not, looks like a crack, but it's not, I don't think. And I just want to point out that if you do think you're getting arms for these vehicles, these arms, because of the KDS, are different to the GX or GXL arms. Okay, so there's a crack just starting, so good example again. Just starting, nothing to worry about, but you can see the start of the crack just there, right? Try and get a bit closer. So, not a big deal. Standard stuff. Check the other side. Same thing, standard stuff, right? Nothing to worry about. You don't even need to start saving yet, as long as your suspension's not old and flogged, because as explained in another video, if your suspension springs and dampeners are stuffed and everything's bouncing, these bushes, things are going like that, and it's flexing. There's a lot of flexing going on here, more than normal, and that's what's going to damage your bushes. So quick inspection. Obviously at some points someone's done an auto service, had the pan off. You can see the cork gasket. We may have, what we should do with these videos is start using the client's first name. This is Jeff's car, right? Jeff, we're going to say Jeff from where? Jeff, Silver, 150 Prado, 2014, if I remember correctly. That way when you see previous service inspection videos, and we'll put them in the playlist, there's a playlist there that's called Service Inspection and Pre-Purchase or Post-Purchase Inspection, and we do those here, and we can do a video on it for you so you've got a record of what needs doing. Generally they'll go for about 10 minutes or so. Just checking everything out while I'm talking to you, giving this info. I'm checking things out. I might not see everything in the 10-minute video, but that's why you look at a number of videos in case I miss something on one, because I'm sort of talking to you trying to do the video while I'm looking. So it's only the obvious things, the really obvious things. These are what we call the hang-ups. That's where you get hung up on the tracks, and they need to be there. Otherwise, obviously, those mounds and rocks will then hit this cross member here, damaging that. So this is the gentle hit hang-ups. They could be... Kaon could make something a little bit different here that was a bit flatter, so you didn't get quite so hung up, if you know what I mean. So you get the protection so the car doesn't slam the cross member here, but not quite so much hang up there. There you go, Kaon. If you happen to watch this video, I'm not going to send it to you or anything. Maybe someone else will, but anyway, we could get some new hang-ups, if they were $100 for the pair or something. Okay, so we just lubed the drive line. You can see what's going on there. Bit of red outback dust, been up the Cape and whatever. So this is a vehicle that's been up the Cape. Fuel filter's been changed. Diff oils have been changed. There's the suspension, whatever it is, Lovels, whatever, the blue, there you go, Lovels, the blue springs. Right, fuel filler hose. As the 150s get older, they might start leaking. We haven't seen one on a 150 leaking yet, so we'll let you know about that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned means, you know, subscribe, turn the bell on. Good time to do that now so you don't miss out the next important information like this and everything as it updates. With all the vehicles we see going through all these wear and tear conditions, brake pads about half worn, ballpark, so nothing to worry about yet. Have a quick look at these ones while we're at it. Hard to see, hard to get the camera in there that way, but you know, I can tell you they're about half worn, ballpark, so they're okay for another couple of services. We've got to clean up this rear diff a little bit more from the service. Not much to see. Good vehicles, you know. As I said in other vehicles, do you remember the days where you'd get to sort of 80,000, 100,000 k's, the old Holdens and Fords and other crappy brands that were worse than those even, and oh, it's getting a bit longer, it's time to get rid of it. Now, quite regularly, I'm seeing people buying these vehicles with 200,000 or 300,000 k's on them, and they really don't need much work, but you can't expect it not to need anything. You know, if you're buying an old 120, great cars, but you can't expect it not to need anything. Now, what have I missed? It seems like, you know, this car's too good. There's no issues with anything. The brakes are good. Driveline's lube. There's no leaks, no oil leaks. You know, that usual oil leak. And there's been a few comments. Yeah, you know, we try and help people out. It's not a leak. If you've got a big oil leak, we're not going to put sealant there and hold half a litre of oil in there. It's a leak that's so minor it's not funny. It's a massive amount of work really to split that, get the box off, change the seal. If it's leaking 10 mil a year or less or something like that, just enough to make a weep and a mess there, yeah, we're going to clean it up and we're going to put the RTV on there if that's what the client wants, you know. It's up to them. So, look, you know, it's not a dodgy fit. It is dodgy. Yes, I know. Oh, that's really dodgy. Yeah, it is dodgy. I get what you mean, but if you think it through, it's not dodgy. Anyway, you're not going to normally do that with a real oil leak, but these cars don't have real oil leaks. It's just a bit of a sweat. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the wheel balance situation. The wheel, why do we balance wheels, and when do we balance the wheels? Okay. Basically, right now, when you fit a tyre to a wheel, the manufacturing of the wheel, the tyre, so the wheel's pretty straight. Well, hopefully, if they're quality, genuine Toyota wheels, you're not going to have an issue until you hit a gutter or something like that. Tyres, there's a bit of imperfections there, so of course they need to be balanced. We won't go too much into what wheel balancing is and exactly what it does, but so if you balance your wheels and they get fitted and they're all balanced right, why do you need to rebalance them again later? Because people say, well, people are saying, oh, you know, can you just swap the tyres front to rear? Well, we can, but this is the reason why. Look, because I don't do wheels and tyres. I don't sell your tyres. I don't fit your tyres. I don't repair your tyres, and I don't balance your tyres. We're busy doing other stuff. Tyre shops do the rotate and balance type stuff. So if you come to us for service, it's not something that's included in our service. We can recommend when you should do a rotate and balance. Why would you need to balance them again? Well, this is why, right? Because what happens is people hit gutters. Okay, that's the first thing. Let's go back to the first thing. I've skipped the first thing. The first thing is people can't do their jobs right, okay? So they don't balance them properly, okay? So quite often you see, and I haven't looked at this one yet, you can see, good, they've used stick-ons at least, but, you know, I'm not going to say anything about these weights. Let's go to the other wheels and just have a look, see what we got. Yeah, that's not bad as well. They've got some as well. So some people can't balance wheels because when you spin it up, all right, you spin it and it tells you, okay, I did it, and you got to turn the wheel. Okay, yeah, it needs it there. It's really hard when your head's upside down for some people to work out where the weights go because they need to be accurate about putting it right there. And it's, you know, it's kind of easy to be a little bit off. And on the machine, right, you put in the position and then, you know, people's heads are upside down, twisted back to front, and they've had a bad night and a bad day, and you know, they're feeling a bit dizzy and they haven't had breakfast yet and all that. And look, I've seen it so much where I watch them put the weights on and they've got it and it's got to go there and they're putting it there. Hello. And then they spin it again. Sometimes they don't, so that means it's out. Sometimes they spin it again and then it's out 20 grams. Oh, and then they put another one. Or they just make it hard. Take a bit more time to put the weight in the right spot. Anyway, the point is sometimes they don't put the wheels on the machine right. Sometimes they don't use the right adapters to get it all square to balance the wheel correctly. So long story short, people don't balance them right. That's one reason. The other reason is people hit gutters, weights fall off, and maybe it slightly bends the wheel or the tyre. So the point is the wheels can go out of balance again. So if you're rotating your wheels and tyres, probably fair to assume that if you haven't got a vibration in your steering, right, that's your front tyres, back up the front here, right? If you haven't got a vibration in your steering, that means your fronts are okay. So it would be fair to assume you could take your fronts and put them on the rear without having any issues, because if you don't feel it in your steering, then you're not going to have any issues on the rear. General information. Some cars, completely wrong. You need to balance out the last 5 grams. Sports cars, low profile, whatever. But on these big, heavy wheels and tyres, you can be 20 grams out and you won't even know, guys, right? If you feel it in a Prado, you're probably 50, 80, 100 grams out. So you can put your fronts on the rear. The reason we don't want to do it without balancing is if you've got a wheel balance that's out on the rear and we put it on the front, and then you drive away from a service, you know, we do that without balancing it, then what's going to happen is you got a vibration in the steering, makes us look bad. We've done the wrong thing. So that's why we're reluctant to do it. Even if you say, oh, no, that's all right, it's still a crap feeling when you've just paid money to have your vehicle repaired or serviced and you drive away and your steering wheel's sideways or you've got that vibration or whatever. So we give cars back better, cleaner than what they came in, and swapping wheels around, not knowing the wheel balance really isn't one of them. So I hope you understand that, and I hope that's got some information for you on why to balance wheels and when to balance wheels. Whenever you rotate them, you should balance the tyres that are coming off the rear or wherever else that are going onto the front, because people don't do them right and because they can go out. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of this inspection side of things as well. Please give us the thumbs up if you like that, the like button. And yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss the next important bit of information. Catch ya.